Another episode of the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. I'm actually going to lose the headphones. I think the quality of the audio is not that great. Ben, can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Sick. Okay. So today, everybody, what we're going to be doing is a continuation of an episode that we did about 2 weeks ago that raised a ton of questions about what's working right now to grow and scale cash physical therapy practices in categories like just business setup, rates and pricing, how to structure your packages, marketing, client acquisition, sales and patient experience, time management, client retention, and how to live a balanced life when you have the pressures of running a business, of acquiring patients, of showing up every day for your patients while also juggling the all the things that life throws at us. And so today we're going to continue that episode and answer the most asked questions of 2024 that we've received after working with hundreds of cash physical therapists who were looking to go from 0 to the first 10K months, from 10K months to the first 30K months, 30K months to 50, and eventually to the point where now many of our clients are reaching $80,000, $90,000 months inside of their cash practice. Tailing your coattails a little bit, Ben.
Yeah, I got to push it a little bit harder.
Yeah, how's it feel? Our clients are catching up to you, dude.
Good feeling, man. Yeah, it's a good feeling. It's fun to see that. It just goes to show that systems that we use can work anywhere, and it's really rewarding, honestly, to see them impact the community so much with our systems and with our help. So it's super rewarding.
And doing it faster than you did. All the clients that we have that are now doing $80,000 months, they did it in 2 years of working with us. And Ben, it took you probably about 3-4 years to be knocking on that door, right?
Yeah, it took me about 3 years.
Right. So it's so cool to see them doing that. But anyway, we digress. Let's dive into the most asked questions of 2024. Ben, I'm going to throw one at you right away. What's the one thing your first consultation needs to build instant trust so that they're showing up already committed and invested to ongoing visits?
Yeah, it really comes upstream. It's that first phone call. That's where really all the magic happens. And our patients come in with the expectation that they're going to buy. There's not a whole lot of winning over we have to do at that point. So it really comes down to setting those expectations on the phone call and building trust with them beforehand. It's also a great experience, like providing with a great experience before they come in, and just hammering them with social proof. Like we get the patients before they come in, they get hammered with a lot of social proof. They see reviews, they get onboarding emails. They also get texts from their treating PT. They get a summary recap of the phone call that they did, which actually shows them that we're listening. And that, unfortunately, is not very common in the healthcare system. It's what's your name, date of birth, and insurance, and that's it. And they move on. So it really comes down to that first phone call and that experience before they come in. And it's not actually something that needs to be done during. It's all about before.
Right. Totally agree with that. I actually got a question from one of our followers who's been going through all of our content, all of our free resources, and is already getting sales as a result of those resources. But he had one particular question for me that I woke up to this morning where he was asking, it's like, hey, he got a client on the phone. He used their script, got them scheduled, pre-framed the rates to his visit and got them to commit to it. But this was a chronic condition patient who had tried all of the more traditional routes for finding relief, and none of them worked. And so he didn't pre-frame the number of visits that this person would likely need, given the fact that it is a chronic condition. So I'm curious, Ben, like how would you handle that differently, or would you handle that any differently?
Yeah, I would still pre-frame, like we're going to start with that at least 10 sessions and kind of go from there. I'll learn more during the assessment, but let's just start with the assessment. We'll do the assessment and we'll see how it goes. I'll have a better idea for you, but I will at least start with 10 to get started.
Right. Right. The clients who get the best results with us, they come in for at least 10 sessions. Given the fact that you've been dealing with this for a number of years, I'm confident that we're going to find out exactly why this is going on. And by the time you're done with the 10 visits, not only will you be experiencing relief, but you'll know exactly what you need to be doing to manage these symptoms long term.
Yep. Exactly.
Right. I think it should be handled the exact same.
Yep. And then a question for you is patient experience. How do you feel we should design a patient experience so good that they keep coming back?
Understanding the different stages of buyer awareness and customer retention. There's an incredible book called How to Never Lose a Customer Again. And it breaks it down into various stages where it's exploration. Actually, let me share exactly what those things are, because it's worth noting. The 8 stages of customer journey. Never lose. This is really good stuff. I highly recommend going and getting that book. Okay. And so I'm going to go through like what it is that we do inside of our clinics to really boost and maximize retention. But it's worth noting that there's 8 stages of the customer journey. Once they've actually discovered your brand, once they're considering your brand, and they are, the assessment stage where they're looking at all of their particular options that are out there to solve a problem. The admit stage, when they admit that they do have a problem that does need to be solved right now. And the affirmation stage, when they're agreeing that your process is actually the thing that they need that's going to get them the end result that they actually have. Now, this handles everything from your marketing to how you're getting people to show up and the way you're communicating your value and consulting them during that initial phone call, where we're building the gap between where they are and where they want to be, making sure that they're entering our arena as a patient with the right mindset going into treatment, going for long-term solutions, right? Then there's the activation stage. This is where our patient experience truly begins, when we activate them as a patient. For us, that's when they're completing their intake surveys. We call them our evaluation accelerator forms, which we incorporate motivational interviewing into those to make them feel fundamentally different than any other intake forms that they've ever taken, where we're asking them more challenging questions around what it is that they truly want, not just out of treatment, but out of life, so that we can help tailor the experience that we're creating for them around helping them achieve those long-term goals. Acclimate is when we're actually building a stronger, deeper connection with them that is going to get them through the hurdles where most people would drop off. So at the acclimate stage is where we're sending them personalized videos from the treating PT before they even show up. After they get scheduled, but before they show up to the visit, we're sending them a personalized video so that we can kind of break the ice with the patient before they even show up, so they can feel our energy, they can feel our confidence, they can feel our excitement around getting them the help that they need to live a more active and happy life. Okay. And so the first several stages all happen so very quickly. And it's about designing our patient experiences with intention, understanding the human psychology that goes into what gets people to take action, what gets people to feel progress, not just actually the physical, tangible progress that they make with you through your treatment, but the emotional progress that they get to make, where even though they may not have made the physical progress that you'll get them on their 4th, 5th, or 6th visit, but emotional progress in the belief that they're going to truly solve this problem, that this isn't going to be a life sentence that they can deal with, and winning them over through the relationship and getting that emotional buy-in. Then we have the accomplished. Yeah, sorry.
One thing to add to that too is I think this is where PTs fall short, is especially schooling, is patients don't want more exercises. Like, it's not exercises that they're excited about and get them the wins and early on. Maybe down the road, that's obviously what gets them long-term results, and that's what PTs think is like most important to patients. But it's not. During that assessment, they don't want one extra exercise. They don't, going from 3 exercises to 4 on their HEP for their first session doesn't move the needle. They want to know that this is a solvable problem and that this is something that you see all the time that you can help them with. That is the goal of the assessment and what they actually get value out of on that assessment. It's not more exercises. So that's the thing too, that a lot of the PTs that start with me at ProKinetics struggle with. They struggle with a little bit of time management because they're trying to build up so much value. And they think that more exercise and cramming more exercises on that first session is what does it. So just want to make sure that was very clear too.
I love it. Now, once you get them through the acclimation stage, and you build that relationship before they show up, the next thing is really blowing them away. So Ben does at ProKinetics, what we coach all of our clients to do is any new evaluation that's coming in, we have whiteboards in each of our treatment rooms. Or if you don't have treatment rooms and you're a standalone clinic, then wherever they walk in, have some sort of whiteboard that greets them, that says, welcome so-and-so, that shows them right off the bat, the second they walk into your clinic, that you've been thinking about them, you've been preparing for this session, and that they're not just another number walking into your clinic. We also make sure that we greet them within 30 seconds by name and shaking their hand. Even if we're already with the patient, we'll tell them, like, hold on real quick, I just got to go get this person situated. Say hi, tell them you'll be just like 5 more minutes, then go. That personal touch, that rush to go make sure that they feel comfortable and welcome goes a really, really long way. And then we're spending about 40% of the actual evaluation time doing the subjective assessment, really getting deep on why that patient is there, what's going on, what it's stopping them from doing, why that's bothering them, what they're hoping to gain, what they would be doing differently if this was already solved, and helping make sure that they verbally articulate exactly every single component to what is important to them about treatment, so that they feel that you truly understand them better than anyone else does. A lot of PTs, they rush through this because it's like, this is the millionth shoulder pain patient that's walked in who wants to just be able to continue to work out like they normally do. And so they rush through it because they feel like they understand, not realizing that the patient doesn't know that they understand because they haven't told you. And so we spend a lot of time in this, making sure that we're careful with our body language, our facial expressions, that they feel open and comfortable to trust us. And so that's another big component, like taking the time to make sure that they feel heard and understood, and that there is a true trust and real collaboration happening during the initial evaluation. And if you just do all of those pieces correctly, you're going to find that they have a heck of a lot more buy-in throughout the entire experience, and you're going to have fewer people dropping off, and you're going to find that fewer objections happen when you actually go and make your recommendation for treatment. I could keep going on this. There's the stage after. I won't. I'll digress after this one. So after you accomplish, celebrate their wins. After you get through that initial stage, every single moment of victory, celebrate that with them. Pause and celebrate that with them. And then obviously can just provide world-class treatment, get them the results that you are trained to be able to give your clients. And then if you can do all of those things right, then there's only 2 other stages. There's the adopt stage, where they're ascending into your continuity programs and they've adopted a new lifestyle, a new perspective on physical therapy, where they can live a much better life and have much better longevity if they come in on a monthly basis for a tune-up, or at least a quarterly basis for a tune-up. And then lastly, there's the advocate stage. Now that you have them coming back consistently, well, now they're singing your praises to everyone else, because people who invest in that kind of ongoing treatment, in that high performance kind of lifestyle where they're seeing a physical therapist, those people like to talk about it. They like, because it gives you status. You're someone who takes your health very, very seriously. And that's people who do that. They love to find communities of other people who are like that, and they like to talk about it. It gives you status when you're in that world, when you take things that seriously. So if you want to create a world-class patient experience, read the book, How to Never Lose a Customer Again. Understand the 8 stages of the customer journey and optimize each and every step. And if you are looking for ideas or want some help with it, just reach out to us through the podcast, through contacting info@clinicalmarketer, or just ask in the YouTube community or the Facebook community or our Instagram pages, and we'd be more than happy to give you some ideas.
Yeah, I think it's what's most important during that assessment is personality, charisma, and building trust. That's the main focus. It's not skill set that's actually going to move the needle. Obviously important to have skill set, but during that assessment, especially people that are skeptical, it's not your assessment skills and clinical skills. It's personality, charisma, and building that trust.
100%. This is a big one. We've been talking about this one a lot. I love this one. How do you juggle patience and finding time to actually grow on the business without running yourself into the ground?
Really comes down to time blocking. There's nothing more efficient than scheduling patients you've got availability from, let's say, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you've got that availability for 20 patients. All right, that's a lot of hours for 20 patients. You've got a lot of inefficiency. You might have a patient at 8, a patient at 10, 11, and then one not until 2, and then 4. And it's just really difficult when you have that, when you switch from patient care to like administrative tasks or working on the business. It just, I think it takes 15 or 20 minutes to truly transition from one task to another. So if you are doing like that every other hour, like you're wasting a half hour every hour just transitioning back and forth. And so that's the big thing, is time blocking. And a lot of people's concerns like, well, I want to be accommodating to patients and what their time they can do. We've got, it's funny how it works. We've got a 2 or 3 week wait list, or we don't anymore. We hired on, but about 2 or 3 months ago, we had a 2 or 3 wait list, and there was always just 1 or 2 slots left. And for people on Friday, they made it work. Like that's the thing too, is patients are bought in, they will make it work. You don't need to be coming in at all hours of the day. So that's the thing, is making sure that you are time blocking. Ideally, you have 1 day out of the week, just work on the business without any patient care. And then the rest of the days still do time blocking. If you're seeing 20 patients a week, you should be able to get that done in honestly 3 days of just patient care. So that's the thing too. And also, I think this is something that in the last, 2 or 3 years, it's been kind of preached that, you can't run yourself on the ground, which I agree you don't want to do. But at the end of the day, you're starting a business, you're not going to be able to be successful just putting 40 hours a week if you really want to grow and scale. So it does take a little bit of a grind. It's not just time blocking and it's perfect and you're going to be good to go. You're going to have to grind a little bit at the beginning. And I think that's something that is a false narrative that's been kind of pushed, that it can be all hunky dory and you don't have to grind. If you want to have a business at the beginning, it does take a little bit of grind if you really want to be successful. So
100%. Like it's not, the only reason grinding is essential is because you don't have a plan that is going to work yet. And there's so many skills that you need to develop, and you only develop those skills by doing all the wrong things over and over and over again. And then once you identify like those skills, then life becomes a hell of a lot easier. But most people aren't willing to do the hard work required to develop those skills, or at least aren't willing to invest in a mentor or a coach who can help expedite the learning of those skills. I want to expand on this just because we've been helping so many people with this lately on like managing their time and balancing business and balancing life. Time blocking is obviously essential. And what we recommend is making sure that 2 or 3 days out of the week, you block off 3 4-hour time block in the morning to focus on you, your routine, taking care of you, and the things that are going to move the needle forward in your business, so that you can get into true deep work and grow. Because let's face it, you're seeing 20, 25 visits a week. It's only 20 to 25 hours, maybe 15 minutes for each client to do your notes. But that leaves you at least 20 hours of working on the business. So this notion that you don't have time to work on the business is absolute, utter bullshit. You're spending your time doing stupid things, and you know it. Because this is what I've noticed a lot of people do. They treat working on their business like it was the exam that they were procrastinating studying for. And so they realize like, oh crap, like things aren't moving as quickly as I need patience now. And now they're trying to cram a week's worth of effort into a couple hours, and they're mad at themselves for not getting they're mad at the world because they're not getting results. But it's like they're bringing this B and C student mentality to entrepreneurship and expecting to set the curve, which in business is having a successful, sustainable business that can give you at least a 6-figure income every single year. That is setting the curve. Most people never reach that point. And people are surprised that they're not getting there, but they're bringing this half-ass mentality, this 9-to-5 mentality to it. So yes, you need to time block. If you're worried that some of your patients, they can only be seen in the morning, that's fine. 2 days out of the week, open up hours in the morning, and then your 3 to 4 hour time block is maybe in the afternoon or the evening during those days. But there's no reason to not have a 3 to 4 hour time block to work on the business. Anything to add? I have one more thing I want to add into that, but I don't want to just like talk over you, Ben. Anything you want to contribute to that one?
It's just it takes more than a 9 to 5 schedule to really run and build a successful business, and it's not always right for everybody, honestly. And so you got to make that decision for yourself. If that's something that you're willing to sacrifice.
So the other thing I want to learn, because this is relevant, I was just talking with someone 2 days ago about this one that I think I need to add into our training on like time management. It's like blocking off 3 to 4 hours also isn't enough. You need to have a plan on how you're going to use those 3 to 4 hours. Because I was asked, like, how do I avoid like distractions? Like, and this person was spending a ton of time scrolling on their phone. They were downloading a bunch of free resources. They were on YouTube. They were going through a bunch of different reels, just like creating the illusion of progress because they were learning, but they weren't actually implementing anything. And so if you want to eliminate distractions, then you have to have a plan, because otherwise it's easy for us to become distracted when we don't know what we're actually trading that time for. It's easy to scroll through reels and just watch information when you don't know the task that you're giving up to do that activity. And so at the beginning of every single month, you should know how you're going to fill all of that deep work time at the beginning of every single month, planning for the following month. Maybe you know that December is going to be a slow month. Well, in November, you should already have a plan on how you are going to go on the offense and fill that time to make it a record month. Because we have a lot of clients that December is one of their best months ever because they go into it with an actual plan to offset all the people who are going to be canceling. And so block off the time for sure, but make sure you know what your targets are every single month. You plan for dips that are seasonal, and you've blocked off that time on your calendar, but also filled in what you're going to be working on during that time. So you're not wasting energy figuring out what you should be working on. In which case, most of the time, if you're doing that, you're just going to end up working on the wrong stuff. You're going to do busy work, and your business is going to continue to not serve you and give you the kind of balance that you're looking for.
100%. Yeah, it's not just about learning; it's about implementation. And I think that's where people really struggle.
Yeah. Brian said something to me yesterday that I'll never forget. It was, watch me like forget it and get it wrong now. It was what you know but don't do, you don't know. Because if you just focus on learning and just getting more information and more freebies, but you don't actually take the action to do anything with it, it's no different than having no clue what to do at all. And so don't waste your time on YouTube scrolling reels. Put a plan together. Find the gaps in that plan. Only focus on the learning the things that fill the gaps in that plan, but then map out all the things that you're going to do with that time on your calendar. It's sad how many people never get to the level of balance in their life that they easily could in 3 to 6 months, just because they're creating the illusion of progress for themselves, because they just never create an actual plan. They just have a dream, and they think that if they just show up every day and they're kind and a good PT to their patients, that it's just going to happen. And it's just not. The graveyard is riddled with great PTs with great intentions that never got their business off the ground.
Yep, exactly. And it's yeah, you can be the greatest PT, but if nobody knows about you, it doesn't really matter. Or if you can't connect with patients, it doesn't matter.
Right. 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 The entrepreneurship is not meant for everyone, but everyone who does it will grow as a person, and it will be good for them. But yeah, it's not for everybody. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got time for one more, Ben?
Yeah, let's do. We'll knock one more up.
Okay. Hit me.
I had a patient. Well, this one, I saw a comment in the chat. We'll see. I don't know if this one, I might have to take this one. I had a patient that extended beyond 30 days. Florida requires that we get a referral from their physician. How can you navigate those situations? You want me to take that one?
I got one. I know stuff. No. In states where the direct access laws are a little bit behind, let's say, then you want to find like a direct primary care physician, another physician who can give that permission and write that prescription, basically, who understands the cash pay world, that you can build a referral relationship, because you can send patients your way, they can send patients you can send patients their way and they can send patients your way, and they'll be more than happy to do what's necessary so that you can see that patient, because that is literally a referral for them. So that's what you do. Find a direct primary care physician and create a collaborative, mutually beneficial partnership with them that you can count on, who can have a quick turnaround time for you, that can just meet with that patient over Zoom and then have the turnaround time be like 24, 48 hours.
And like you said, it's a win-win for them, and then it's also a great way to build a referral source for yourself too. Like they're gonna need somebody to refer to, and by you constantly sending people their way, because most likely you're gonna have to do that for almost every single patient. So I would also actually have quite a few different physicians that you can refer to, because that's just another way to cast that net wider and get even more referral sources, because you've got enough patients. Most likely once you get enough patients, you can send that out to more physicians and get more referral sources too. And another thing too is sometimes these patients get beyond what's not really considered skilled care, and it's more like personal training or strength conditioning or performance based. If that's the case, then from my understanding, you don't need to get a plan of care signed, as long as it's not being billed as physical therapy, or it's not labeled as it's wellness. Yep, exactly. So that's a workaround too.
It's so crazy. There's so many of the dumbest loopholes in the world, like not being able to call adjustments. We have to call them manipulations, or it's just like, why are we splitting hairs like that? It's outrageous.
I can't imagine why the healthcare system in the U.S. is the way it is.
Yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, Ben, do you gotta run? We got one more good question. Okay, that's fine. We'll pick this up where we left off next week. Don't forget to go to wherever you listen to your podcast, or to Cash Physical Therapy headquarters on YouTube, and subscribe to our channel. Next week we'll pick this up. We got about 20 more really good questions that we want to make sure that we get through and have answered for all of you. So we got hundreds of people that listen to this podcast, and we want to make sure that you have the information and knowledge you need to make your greatest contribution to your family and your